But the next question is actually based on philosophy. The first question was based on understanding us personally and a connection with nature. I'll take it to Robin and ask you this question, which is, do you think we are part of nature? Or this question that arises sometimes, whether in formal or informal conversations, that are we part of nature or are we not?
Thanks. Yeah, I think that's a very interesting question. I've been thinking about it, listening to some of the answers, and it also came up during the great conversation we had earlier in the room. And there's always this clear distinction people think they can make between nature and culture. And you just brought this up, Johannes, which I always strive to blur, and which, for me at least in my mind, shouldn't be there. I think culture and nature aren't two different things. We talk about the wilderness, we talk about growing up in the city, there's no nature in the city, and I think these are maybe just different expressions of nature. And I would definitely say, yes, we are part of nature. It's impossible to take us out of nature. I think what is interesting is this idea of untouched nature, of the wilderness, as something we can maybe escape into. And maybe that's also in a certain way dangerous, because we think, okay, we messed up this place, but there's still a little bit of wilderness or something out there that we can maybe try to expand or come back to. But maybe it's not about coming back to that. Maybe it's really about acknowledging what we have made, what we have destroyed, and through destruction also created, and maybe through accessing that and understanding that and re-becoming part of nature and accepting that we are part of nature, re-enter the world itself. Because I think there's something dangerous in thinking that there's us out of the world as a human special race, and the mind out there that is something out there that we can preserve. And then there's nature around us, which we can interact with, or that we can control, or that we have to preserve. I think by separating the two, there's already some form of domination really in that. And by accepting that we are part of nature, and that by preserving nature we preserve us, and that by preserving us we can also find ways of living that are more sustainable, I think turns it around. So this nature culture debate, I think, is maybe philosophically really at the heart of that. I mean, there's a bunch of interesting studies about dogs, for example, how we think, oh yeah, dogs are like the expression of human culture, where we took wild wolves and we made them into these living tools for man, and tools or friends, depending whom you talk to, right? But then there's this other point of view where people studying archaeological remains of early societies and dogs, and who say, well, maybe dogs also evolved for us to accept them into our homes. And the vision where people say, oh, maybe dogs actually won the game because they just hang around and we bring them the food and we take them out for walks and we follow them. So maybe this idea of us like dominating nature and making it part of it is also an ideology. And I think this ideological part of it is dangerous.